The man sat on the edge of his bed, staring out the window at the darkness outside. He thought back to his youth, to the days when he and Mary would ride out of their small town to the fields where the grass was green and the river ran wild. They'd spend hours swimming in the river, diving deep into the cool water, feeling the current take them downstream. He remembered the feel of her body next to his, her laughter ringing out as they splashed around, but then everything changed. He got her pregnant, and suddenly they were rushing to get married at the courthouse with no flowers or fancy dresses. They went back to the river that night, but it wasn't the same. There was a weight hanging over them, a sense that their carefree days were over. He took a job in construction, but when the economy took a turn, there was no work to be found. He watched as his dreams slipped away, replaced by bills and responsibilities. He tried to forget the past, but it haunted him. He remembered lying next to Mary at the reservoir, listening to the sound of her breathing. He wondered what happened to her, where she was now. He thought about the dreams they had, the plans they made. Were they just lies, he wondered, or were they something worse? The man stood up and walked out of his room, down the stairs and out the door. He made his way to the dry riverbed, where the water had long since disappeared. He stood there, staring at the rocks and dirt, remembering the times he and Mary had spent there. He wondered if it was all worth it, if the pain and the loss were worth the memories. But then he saw a shooting star streaking across the sky. He closed his eyes and made a wish for a life without regrets, a life where he could find the happiness he once had. He turned and walked back to his house, knowing that the past was gone, but that the future was still ahead of him. He would try to find a way to live his life without looking back, to find a way to make the most of the time he had left.